Richard Andrews. Hi, neighbor. I say again. If you have your son in class. Our reflection today will be authored by Frank Rella. Hello, Rotarians. I just had to do that. Okay, I wear bifocal glasses, and without them, things right in front of me are just very big, blurry, and and sometimes there's big green signs on the highways. You know, they get fuzzy, and I can't read them until I almost miss the exit. I also wear hearing aids to ensure that I can hear what I think I heard what I heard. You know. But even with these physical aids, it's sometimes challenging to discern the messages versus the motives of the message, especially when it's what's in it for me culture. So now, let's pray. Dear Great Spirit, we are thankful for the team of cooks who have all again prepared a variety of foods that smell and taste delicious. We're also grateful for living in a country that encourages our personal freedoms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We continue to ask for your endless support and guidance. With clarity of mind, using all our senses, help us find solutions toward a more peaceful world. Please touch our nearly 1.5 million local, national, and international members to continue to focus on developing community partnerships and reinforcing Rotary's principles of the four-way test of truth, fairness, goodwill, and mutual benefit. Please hear our prayer and guide us with your love. Amen. Thank you, Frank. I want to put one last pitch in for our bridge project this Saturday, 16th of August. I asked the city if Rotary can be part of this assembly, and it is a bridge that crosses over a creek that goes through Kiel Park. We need only about 8 volunteers. We have 3 so far. Really need about 2 more, maybe in the afternoon. Last week, 3 of our Rotarians volunteered their time for a 3-hour shift. The shifts will start at 8, 11. There'll be a box lunch. There'll be shelter. The work will consist of moving the wood that was cut a couple weeks ago to the bridge location from a nearby trailer, assembling the bridge planking and putting in place the protective netting. City workers have secured the posts that will hold the bridge in place. As I mentioned in late June, this bridge could serve as yet another learning resource for Oak Hill Park by allowing students to observe. So as part of our attempt to help make Rotary a little more interactive with its members, this should be a good, not too challenging project for those willing to help. Volunteers would be greatly appreciated. We need about 1 or 2 more. So any of you are so moved, I would really appreciate it. Now I have Secretary Lynn and the Secretary's report.
Thank you, President Allen. And I think he's willing to take family and friends and Rotarians also. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes. We have the traveling microphone. Actually, Beth Weaver is going to start with the guest.
My guest today is our Assistant Director at Habitat for Humanity, Erin Huckrow.
Past President Brett Rice.
I have 2 guests with me today, and a face that you're going to get to know throughout the year. First, Katie and Ian Webb, along with their sister Lily. Please give them a round of applause. And parents, Brian and Becky, they are one of our first host families for this year. And come on up, I'd like to introduce you, really proud to introduce you to Akshara, who is our exchange student from India. University of Wales.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Akshara Patil. I'm from India. I come from Maharashtra, which is near Mumbai, if you know that. And I will be attending Wooster High School this year, and I will be in 11th grade, so I'll be a junior. I'm almost turning 16 this year, and this is my first time out of the country and my first time in the US, so it's really exciting. I've just been here for 4 days, so it's been a really good 4 days, yeah. So I'm really excited to meet every single one of you, and yeah, just I hope this year goes well, and I meet a lot of people, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. And tomorrow, Mama, our boy from Chile, will be arriving at Cleveland International Airport. So we'll look forward to seeing him next week.
Welcome. We have another special guest, Hamid from College of Worcester. I've asked him to tell you some exciting news and introduce himself. He will be joining us as his schedule allows.
Hello everyone, my name is Amida. I'm from Nigeria. I got in last month, and also I'm president of the Rotary Club in my country, Fountain University chapter, and I'll be attending this gathering occasionally till I go back to Nigeria and continue my application process, so that I can return back in fall and resume fully as a student. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to our guests, especially Sharon and Hamid. We hope you enjoyed today's program and the Fellowship of Wooster Rotary. We hope to see you again soon. With that, I will introduce Tom Hill. We'll introduce our speaker.
Thank you, President Allen. Before I introduce today's speaker, I wish to entice all of you with one of the many music exhibits, memorabilia, I should say. This T-shirt that I have, and I'm going to show you in a moment, is from the Wayne County Fair, September of 2014, when the world famous band, the Beach Boys, my favorite band, played. This is a one-of-a-kind T-shirt, which you will need to come to the exhibit to find out why it's one of a kind. With that preface, today's speaker, Andy Kiel, graduated from the Culver Stockton College, Canton, Missouri, with a major in U.S. history. He also earned a master's degree in U.S. history from the University of Akron. His professional career included teaching U.S. history at the University of Akron as an adjunct professor, 25 years teaching social studies at Wooster High School. Perhaps there's even somebody in the room that had him, maybe? Raise your hand. No?
Fortunate.
And also he taught IB Economics and Business at the American International School in, I blew it again, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after taking a 2-year leave of absence from Worcester State Schools. In addition, he was the director of the Tri-County International IB program and coached varsity and college football and basketball for 20 years. He's currently serving as our president of the Wayne County Historical Society, and he was instrumental in establishing the Wayne County Music Events exhibit at our campus. So without any further ado, please give Andy a warm Wooster Rotary welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Another warm day in the big whoop, but we've been dealing with it for a couple of weeks, so inside the air conditioning, it's not too bad. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that about 40 years ago, when I was young and single in my 20s, I accepted a Rotary scholarship to New Zealand. So I don't know if any of you were around back in that period. Some of you might have been, but that was a great program for you guys going through high school and college. Great opportunity. I was able to actually meet the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Muldoon was his last name. But it was a great trip and great opportunity. Plus it was summer there, winter here, so that was even better. Before I talk about the music exhibit, one of the things I really want to stress, and we at the Historical Society, is that we sort of have a hidden gem or jewel in Worcester, or Wayne County, that a lot of people, probably a lot of you, have not visited. And we actually have 7 buildings at the Wayne County Historical Society across from St. Mary's Church over by Drug Mart. So we have the carriage house, which is a lot of old vehicles dating back to the early 20th century, 1910, 1915 vehicles, all sorts of sleighs and other type of horse-drawn vehicles also. In the building next to that is the firehouse, and we have fire trucks that go back to 1869, obviously horse-drawn. So if you're interested in cars, vehicles, that sort of history, that's something you definitely should look at. We have a general store, which back in the day served, as you would guess, and some of you are old enough to remember, sort of a jack of all trades store where you can get everything you wanted, prescriptions and hardware and all sorts of things like that. So that's another site. Beside that, there's the dress shop, which the ladies, of course, would be interested in for the most part. Another discussion. The schoolhouse was actually moved there piece by piece, as was the log cabin. And the schoolhouse, one room schoolhouse. This past year, we had about 500 8th graders, 3rd graders come through, and they imagine themselves going to school in 2nd grade with 8th graders or people 16, 17, 18. They sort of drop their jaws, but that's the way it was back in the day. In fact, my grandmother Strauss was a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse. So when she was around, of course, she'd always tell me stories about her days in that sort of environment. And the log cabin was moved in the 1960s from would have been over by Overton Road. And again, that was moved piece by piece too. And of course, the Bell House, which is actually 1816, goes back, it's probably the oldest house in Worcester. So when the kids look at the difference between the Bell House, which is like a mansion, compared to the log cabin, and I explained to them, you might have lived in a house, this cabin would have had 15 people in it. Of course, they had loft and guys on one side, girls on the other side, climbing up ladders, sort of like bunk beds. But kids are just amazed. And we also have a lot of taxidermy items that are housed in the Keister building. Dave Roll, of course, donated a lot of those, was instrumental in setting that up. So we miss him, but it's a great, great collection of all sorts of eagles and different types of animals that are taxidermies. We are thinking right now possibly of converting the Bell House into an Airbnb also, part of it. So that would be an attraction that we're considering right now. So that's something to think about in terms of the future. You know, we're not there for money. It's a nonprofit. We're all pretty much volunteers. So we really encourage a lot of you and people in this area to become members of the Wayne County Historical Society and help support us financially also. One of the things coming up for next year is we're going to have the Wayne County Sports Hall of Fame is going to be moved from a sort of obscure place upstairs to the main Keister building. So that's really Aaron Dorkson, Mike Plant, Mike Breckenridge, Eric Reedy, who's going to speak to you guys in the future here, are putting that together. But it's going to be really nice. It's going to have, you know, we have had professional athletes in this county come through. Dick Shadrath, of course, was local. Dean Chance and others, but also athletes who played Division I or Division II. Kid I coached at Wooster High School in football, Tyler Petterini, just signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. So some of you are probably aware of that. Down the road, of course, he'll be in there. Marquise Blair, who I had in school in the football, played professional football the last 5 years, had a couple injuries, but anyhow, there's a lot of names around here, some great volleyball teams from Worcester High School and athletes have come through, swimmers. So it's an exciting project program coming up. And also, one of the main reasons I was asked to come speak is the music exhibit, which is, I think if you get the Worcester Weekly or Bargain Hunter, you might have seen that on the cover, in the last couple of weeks. So to talk about that a little bit, there's been some people who graduated from Worcester High School in 1967. Don Jones is a pastor in Illinois. He donated a lot of old memorabilia from the YMCA Inferno concerts. So we have a lot of posters of those framed up. He also set up a Beatles exhibit, which people have contributed to. When you walk in, at the beginning of the music exhibit, you'll see the Beatles exhibit also. So if you're not aware of it, there's been so many concerts in this area over the years that probably would surprise you. So we have different genres. We have College of Worcester concerts. We have Ohio Light Opera. Laura Neal's here, and Stephen Daigle helped set that up. So we have a whole row of OLO photos, memorabilia, Broadway people on TV and in movies. As I mentioned, College of Worcester concerts. How many people have been to College of Worcester concerts over the years? Anybody out there? There we go. So here's just a brief list. Beach Boys were at College of Worcester. No, they were both places. Chicago, Sly and the Family Stone, where Sly Stewart just passed away a few weeks ago. That did Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys, just passed away a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. Don McLean, American Pie. Most people remember that song. Goes on and on and on. But Ike and Tina Turner. Of course, I think Tina needed to leave Ike. You know the end of that story. But Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Some of you might have been to that concert. Charlie Daniels, Ravi Shankar, who played at Woodstock. Nina Simone, Muddy Waters, and there's probably a number of other ones that I don't remember. But they certainly had a lot of shows up at the College of Worcester over the years. Some great ones. Plus the tickets were like $5 or $2.50. When you walk in the exhibit, you can see the prices on the what? I mean, now what's it cost? $250, $500? I don't know. I don't go to those shows anymore, but part of it's my pocket, part of it, my wife says, you're not going to that. We're not to eat instead. Wayne County Fair concerts. Johnny Cash played there. Dolly Parton, Roy Clark, Tammy Wynette, America, Merle Haggard, Loretta Lynn, and most of you have cruised down the road listening to Roger Miller. You all think you're king of the road, right? Remember that song? If you haven't heard it, play it sometime. Local musicians too. We have a display of that also. Phil Kagi became a Christian Dove Award winner. He used to play at YMCA Infernos, but he also played at the Methodist Church and won a Dove Award for Christian music. Chubby Checker, of all people, played in downtown Worcester one time. We have some other different types of local musicians, such as Ken Holsworth. Dr. Ken Holsworth played cornet and trumpet for Reagan's White House. So we have some pictures of him, the White House, and so on and so forth. So it's not just rock, it's not just country. Then we have local musicians like the Stick People, if you remember them. Steve Russo, Steve Calabria from the Cochise. And we have the DTRs, the doctors. See Dr. Mathers in here someplace. There he is. So the DTRs, of course, the late Mike Knappich was in that group along with Kevin Mather. Help me out, who's in that? Denny Davis, and probably a few other ones, but there's pictures of them together, obviously. They used to play at what they call bus stop. You remember that on Flickinger Hill? And then there's a teachers group called Mental Faculties. You might have seen them down at the square sometime. Bob Vini and let's see, Carla Bennett, Miriam Stokes, Brett Heiner, a few other ones. So pretty cool little collection of different musicians. And then Bill Ross, as I mentioned before, or Don Jones, I mentioned before, but Bill Ross and Don Jones used to play in a group called Me and the Guys. So we have photographs of them. There was a group called the Belmonts, local group, that actually grew up on Belmont Street. And Dion and the Belmonts sued them because they had the name first, so they had to drop that name. Sort of a weird story, but true. So Lawrence Walker and John Rhodey, Jimmy Blackwell, Don Jones were all in that group. Then we have another little pocket of exhibits that has to do with WWST, the original radio station that really started in full swing after World War II. In fact, up until a year ago, they and a station in Sandusky were the longest running carriers of the Indians Guardians. But obviously they've changed the focus of the station these days, so they're not covering that anymore. We also have a little exhibit with the Worcester High School Fine Arts Hall of Fame. There's individuals like John and Jeff Detro, big radio announcers they were starting at the radio station in Worcester when they were 14, 15 years old, ended up going to Detroit, CKLW radio, out to LA, made it big time. So they're also displayed there. I just happened to find this today. I just talked to him on the phone yesterday, Phil Giffen. Phil Giffen was a Worcester High School graduate, and he's been nominated for Emmys on numerous occasions. Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, Die Hard. He did the scores for those movies. So I talked to him yesterday, and he's going to come visit in October, might do a presentation. And he was a class of 72 at Worcester High School. And what's ironic is that this little side story was that class of 72 had raised a number of funds for heart awareness, and they won a award where Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels were supposed to play a concert here in Worcester because of them raising the money. Well, he never showed up. The band never showed up. So now he's still touring at his age, probably about 80, and he's going to play at the PAC, Worcester High School Performing Arts Center, in September. So we're trying to merge some of this stuff together in terms of, music exhibit and what they should have gotten a young Mitch Ryder, but I'm sure it'll be good to see anyhow. But Phil Giffen, his house, ironically, was one of those destroyed from the wildfires over Malibu. So I just talked to him, as I said yesterday, and he's almost on his way to getting back in his house again, which is pretty cool. Any other exhibits here? Oh, yes, the last one of my former students at Worcester High School in AP US History was Joe Wickens. Joe Wickens is now curated at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he's agreed to loan us lyric sheets from Jim Morrison and the Doors, from Sheryl Crow songs, and from Billy Joel songs. And also, as sort of a final capper, talking about rock and roll music, the term or phrase rock and roll was actually coined by a guy named Alan Freed. And there was a concert called the Moondog Coronation Ball in 1952. And he gave us an original poster of that, which is also in part of the exhibit. So that's pretty cool too. So besides that, again, I would like to encourage you to visit the Wayne County Historical Society to see the music exhibit. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a lot of College of Worcester people out in the audience. The Compton family exhibit is something you should see also. If you're not familiar with the Compton family, Arthur Compton was part of the Manhattan Project. And he basically was ignored in the movie Oppenheimer. He actually was Oppenheimer's boss for a little while. So he wasn't even mentioned in the movie, but the brothers all became presidents of MIT, Princeton, different universities. And it's quite an exhibit. Rob Boyer put that together for us, and that's going to be a permanent exhibit. We have pop-up exhibits, like the music one is pop up for 6 months, 5 months, and then something else will replace it. But we're going to have permanent exhibits too, and that's going to be one of them. So, little hidden gem or jewel is the Compton exhibit, and I think you'll find that the whole Historical Society is something that all of you should come and visit, hopefully soon. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Righty.
Tell us how long the music.
It's gonna be up until December. And I think the last time I did address Rotary, I published a book on J. Edgar Hoover talking about history and the Kennedy assassination, so I might be asked to come back and do that again with the new files being released and other information, so it might be of interest to many of you. Yes, Becky?
What are the hours?
The hours are usually 1 to 5, Tuesday through Friday, but you can set up tours on Saturdays. In fact, I have a tour group coming through on Wednesday evening at 7. So you can just call the Historical Society, or I can get you my cell phone, and you can call and set up an exhibit anytime you want, within reason, that is. All right, thank you.
Andy, in appreciation for you taking time to speak with us today, students at the Village Network have created a plaque for us with the rotary wheel on one side, rotary four-way test on the other. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I guess we stand adjourned.